Hello, Melissa here at Crescent Moon Tarot. I thought it was high time for me to do a deck review on the Zerner-Farber deck by Amy Zerner and Monty Farber. This is the deck that I primarily use. It is by far my favorite deck. It is not at all in the same vein as the Rider-Waite deck. It's very different, and in Amy's art she does take a lot of liberties, but in a way I like that. I was never really a fan of the Rider-Waite deck. The fact that it's used as the standard just always kind of blew me away. I find the art in that deck kind of boring, but Amy Zerner's art and Monty Farber's companion book is a little different, and definitely a different change of pace. It's a fantastic deck. The card quality itself is a bit flimsy. You can even see my cards are kind of curved, like a parenthesis. They are scuffed up on the edges. That's from my nails when I shuffle, doing that. And while I've owned these cards for probably close to about 3 years, maybe longer, I've only been actively using them for a couple months, and this is what just 3 months of wear or so looks. I do sometimes shuffle them backwards, so picture up like that, yeah, to help them not be so curvy, but they do still tend to have a solid curve to them. The art itself is absolutely stunning. This is all done in Amy's tapestry and fabrics. So there's a lot of patterns going on here, and sometimes it can get a little distracting and a little overwhelming. You've got like sunflowers down here, and maybe they're sunflowers. A little hard to tell, honestly. They look like sunflowers to me at any rate. So sometimes things like that add to the card and can kind of give you maybe overstimulation as far as what to focus on. Still beautiful cards. The art, like I said, is quite different. Every suit has its own color. Swords is blue, Pentacles is green, Major Arcana purple. So it's really easy whenever you're just flipping through to quickly glance and see what you got. Ten of Hearts. Hearts suit it's not really coming up very well. It's kind of a pinkish color, pinkish red. Just going to flip through these a little bit, give you a peek at some of them. See, Nine of Swords looks a lot more relaxed and a lot more kind of chilled out than Nine of Swords in the traditional Rider-Waite deck. Rider-Waite. I said that wrong. It's late. I'm sorry. But in cases like this, there are certain cards I find are easier to interpret because the art is different. Wands is orange. This is one of my favorite cards. I think it's just so pretty. I love that the devil is a mask, and there are no people with collars or chains on them. Usually in the traditional deck, you've got two people on either side, and they're chained up, or they've got collars or whatever, and this is just a mask. It's just temptation. It's your own demons are inside you. And I think the meanings of these cards do vary a little bit, especially where the art has changed. I would definitely say, like, here are the Lovers. I struggled with this card for a long time because I actually interpret it as jealousy or even temptation, because you've got this girl down here, and she's gazing at the couple. So I definitely don't interpret the Lovers in this deck as a good, healthy, happy relationship. So different deck, different art. I do love Death. Is actually one of my favorite cards in this deck. All the yellow flowers around him remind me of marigolds, and therefore this card just reminds me of Dia de los Muertos. the Day of the Dead Festival. It's kind of big here in Texas. It may not be where you are. Hanged Man is just kind of fallen instead of hanging from a tree there. Wheel of Fortune is missing a lot of the iconic images that go next to it in the traditional decks. It just has a sphinx and an eagle, a couple peacocks. I do like the Four of Pentacles imagery in this deck better too. It definitely conveys that sense of greed and monetary wealth. There you go, there's just a glimpse at the Zerner-Farber deck. This deck is a rework of the Enchanted World Tarot. This came part of a Learn How to Do Tarot kit. It came with this little silk bag. It's nice, it's held up pretty well, it's fraying a little bit. It came with a DVD, which I have not watched. The DVD does have guided meditations for the different cards. I am not honestly good at meditating, so I just never really bothered with those, but I'm kind of curious about it, so I don't know, maybe I'll watch that and then do a review on it. But it also came with, oops, there go my cards, this book, the Tarot Discovery Kit Guidebook, and all the words in here are by Monty Farber. Amy just does the beautiful imagery. So it's not a very thick book, but it is probably about 6 inches by 6 inches, and it's got how to use the cards, how to do one-card readings. It doesn't really have meanings for the cards, but rather the message and then a possible outcome. It does have color images. The paper is really nice. It's very thick. It grips really well too. It's not like really flimsy where you have to kind of lick your finger and, you know, grapple with the page. You can just easily flip it to the next one. And then it's got a little about the authors on the back. Oh, I forgot. It does have a couple pages intended so you can take this and make photocopies, so you can actually journal with your cards and get to know your cards, because this deck, like I said, is quite different from standard decks. This is about the Celtic cross, which, as you've seen on my blog, you know I despise. Yeah, and then it does, I forgot about this section, it does kind of have, what is this? I'm so unfamiliar with this book. This tells you which meditation video to watch based on which card you want to learn. Patience, Temptation, Release, Healing, Journey, Radiance, Awareness, Global Initiation, Crossroads. The DVD, I looked at the menu screen, the title screen, and it did have quite a few meditations, but like I said, I just really do not have the patience to watch those. And I'm absolutely terrible at meditating. So, great book. I love the case that it came with. All the cards fit in there really nicely. They come to about right here, and then it's got a little cinch. I don't really use the bag often, to be honest. It kind of hangs out in my desk because I use my Zerner-Farber cards so much in free online readings, daily readings, 3-card pulls, 2-card and an oracle pull. These are usually hanging out just on my desk, and more often than not they hang out with Turquoise, my owl. So that's my review of the Zerner-Farber deck. It's, like I said, one of my favorite decks. I use it for almost everything. Very, very different from the traditional decks, but if you don't like the traditional decks, you may find yourself enjoying this one.